After wetting the paper and allowing it to dry a little, I add a layer of blue for the sky, raw sienna for the rocks and background, and again I allow that to dry. As you see here, I'm using a nice large brush, 1.5 inch, and I've mixed ultramarine blue with a little of the burnt umber. I apologise, you can only see half the picture. Not very good at this videoing. I'm learning though, big learning curves. There goes the island in the background. Washed out slightly. You'll notice that I have a tissue in my hand, in my left hand. That's a constant because you can dry the brush on it, or you can also pick out any colour that may be gone too strong. Doesn't always work. I've now got a mixture of ultramarine blue and burnt umber, and in varying degrees and varying strengths. The paper was dry before I got to this stage. I'm using a standard round, I think it's a size 8 brush. You quite often see me dropping some more colour in just to give it that extra strength. From the reference photograph, you will see that it is quite a strong contrast between various rocks and surfaces of the islands. I change over to a finer brush to make some fine edges on that particular island. And now I've changed to a flat brush, putting details on the other island further away, which is in shadow. This is I think 1/2 inch flat brush, which is great for doing water. I later changed back to my 1.5 inch. This particular brush is a very fine top. I think it's a 2 round. I keep changing brushes to the amount of degree of how much paint I want to get onto the paper. Remember, at this stage the paper is dried and I'm going back into it again. The whole painting took me about 2.5 hours, and you're seeing it all in 8 minutes. Just picking up some with the cloth, just to give it a little bit more softness. Here's the reflections coming in, again using the 1/4 inch brush and varying it between raw umber, it's raw sienna and burnt umber. A touch of blue here and there. Now there I dried the brush, cleaned and dried the brush, and I'm just picking out the waves that crossing, so that you give that reflection more vitality. Deepening down this side. Again, I've allowed it to dry to a reasonable amount, not fully dry. If it's fully dry, it just lays the paint exactly where you put it. If there's a slight dampness, it will spread. You have to wait for that to happen. This was a straight drop, I should say, like a cliff top. So there was no light there as such. Coming down to the foreground and really marking in the dark areas of the rocks. I've drawn them in slightly and I'm going by that. You can't see that very well on this video, for which I apologise. As I said, I'm no good at videos. And beyond that there are little stones in the water. I'm doing those in burnt umber with a little raw sienna touching there as well, because they are very light. This little one sticking out of the water is really just touching the paint to dry paper. But once you've wet it, once you've put those colours in, we jumped a bit there and I apologise. But basically I've just done the darks, added a bit here and there, and I'm just putting in the water with my 1.5 inch flat. I love it for doing this. You have to be careful you don't lose your highlights though as I go in. Again, washed the brush out, wiped it off so that it's almost dry, and it will pick up paint. Almost there now. That little brush I'm using, love it. It's so handy. It's very handy for working outdoors. That's it. I hope you enjoyed that short video and learnt something from it. If you want to know more about my visits to Kalymnos or where my studio is on Portland, the information is just coming up now. Look forward to seeing you again. Bye.